How can you get your resume seen by recruiters and hiring managers in the sustainability industry? This was a huge question that I had when I was graduating with my master's program, and it was solely because I wanted to show my parents, I'm a first gen, that I can make it in this market. And so was super obsessed with watching all the YouTube videos out there with all the career coaches, learning the 101s of the resume, and then using the really great resources that I had in my own grad program as well. So with this video, I really do hope to share the top 3 tips that I have when creating a resume for the sustainability or environmental job that you want. And applying some of these tips, I was able to get some interviews with Williams Sonoma, Apple, GreenBiz, HP, and so many more. And so really do hope that this can help you while you're tailoring and curating your resume for the sustainability job that you want. So the first tip I have for you is to really understand the keywords that are presented in the job description. And the reason why that I share this with you today is because almost 100% of Fortune 500 companies use something called an applicant tracking system, also known as ATS. And what this is a computer software that helps companies filter out certain candidates who submit their application to see if what's on their resume is what they're looking for. And so you really need to look at the job description and match the certain keywords that they have on that into your resume, because that is what the hiring managers, the recruiters are going to be looking for in order for you to get that first interview. And so what I recommend in order for you to understand what are the most important keywords are to, one, look at the requirements section and see what skills they actually ask for. Make sure you freaking put that in your skills section, okay? And then sprinkle that throughout your resume. But then second, what you can do is copy the job responsibilities and the requirements, paste that into an online free word cloud generator. And what these platforms will do is show you the most frequent word or body of words within what you pasted. And I feel like this is really helpful because it can really show you what this role is focusing on. And so if you do have that similar experience in your work or even throughout school, then it would be really important to highlight those keywords. Tip 2 is to really target your bullet points. You might be tired of hearing that over and over again, but if you remember from the first tip how a lot of companies use something called an ATS system to check what they want versus what's on the resume, then you'll understand why this tip is so important. I know this might seem like a lot of work, but if you're someone who's applying to different types of roles, it's really common to have different types of resumes. So in the sustainability industry, it's pretty common to have a resume that's focused on the science, data analytics area, and then another resume that's solely focused on skill sets with business and communications. And so with these 2 different types of resumes, you can see which skill sets are similar when you're looking at the job description, and then you'll know automatically, oh, I need to apply with my science resume or my business resume. In addition to targeting your bullet points in terms of the different templates that you end up using for your job, it's really important to include those metrics, right? You need to include numbers, and if you created greenhouse gas inventories, how many did you make? And how many clients are happy about it if you were in consulting, for example. It's really important to include these metrics because unfortunately our industry is very competitive, because even though there's a lot more jobs increasing in this field, because a lot of companies are realizing that it's going to become law for each company to understand their environmental impacts, it's still kind of limited because like teams aren't going to be the same as a marketing team that has hundreds of people, not hundreds, but maybe like 20 people, right? A lot of the times these companies are only going to stay within maybe 1 to 5 people just to see how that budget looks, seeing if they're getting to where they need to go, and if they need to hire more, then they'll hire more. And so making sure that you include these metrics into your resume would be really crucial to show that you stand out from all these other people who have done the same task, but maybe they haven't included anything that's quantitative in their resume. I get confused with quantitative and qualitative a lot because they basically sound the same, so I have to think a little bit. So yeah. So before we get to this last tip, I just wanted to share that I released my resume kit, and in this resume kit it really includes 4 different templates. 2 of them are for new grads and college students, and the other 2 are for the more experienced folks. Now there are different templates out there because one of them is more simplified and the other one is a little more modern, but it's still read through the ATS system. Alongside this kit, you'll also receive 2 of the resumes that I've actually submitted to the different jobs that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Lastly, in this kit, you'll receive the best practices that's the most impactful and effective when trying to get this first interview for these types of roles. And then also a checklist for you to use every time before you submit your application and resume. And so hope you'll check it out. It'll be in the description below. But yes, let's get to the last tip. So for this last tip, you really do want to keep your design a lot more simplified. And if you can think about again about the ATS system, that's why you want to keep it more simplified. But then also remember that these roles are a lot more scientific, technical, or business focused. Since it's these type of roles, you don't have to show off your design skills if you have any, but it can be maybe an asset to you and your skill sets in your resume. You also want to be thinking about that computer software as you're submitting your application. So what you do not want to include are tables or fonts that are unreadable, and then also acronyms that the normal person doesn't know. So if you were to put GHGP into your resume and the normal person has no idea what it means, and you meant to say Greenhouse Gas Protocol, you might want to type that out in your resume. And this is very true with any of the jargon that occurs in our industry. Another thing you can do is include the full text typed out plus the acronym next to it, because it might be the case that they are looking for the acronym if the job description shows that. So whenever possible, just match whatever is on the job application and the description when you're trying to figure out if you should use something that's acronymed or something that is written out. What you can do, and maybe not too many people talk about this, but you can definitely include some color in your resume. I mean, it's totally okay to use maybe a monochrome palette, but maybe not something that has like 3+ different colors through the resume. I've had a lot of my mentors who are PhD students submit their resume in university programs and corporate programs that focus on research, and they got it and they used a monochrome color palette. And so passing that wisdom down to you guys, because I don't know, we want to all be personalized in some way when you're sending these things, and thought that that might help you. So if you are interested in downloading my resume kit, then again, it's down in the link below. But if you're, let's say, trying to figure out what to apply to before actually getting there, then here's a free resource that I can offer you to help you try to figure out where you want to be in this industry, because it's vast. It's not like, oh, I want to do sustainability and you have this one pathway for you. It's, oh, I want to do sustainability. Now, what are my options? What are my interests? And how can I get there? There's so many underlying questions that you got to ask yourself. So we'll also link that in this job description too. But yes, until next time, guys, bye.